Hi, I'm Rick Stivers. I'd like to welcome you to Young Martin's Reels. Today's project is going to be this Shimano MLX-200 reel. And I'm not sure what the deal is on this thing. This thing looks like it's been around the block a time or two. But it came from over at my grandson's, and I would have assumed that if he had it, it was because I had already serviced it. But man, this thing didn't look like anybody serviced it in a long, long time. So maybe this belongs to a friend of his, and we're going to see if we can fix it. If you look, the rotor is very loose on it. It sounds horrible. It's all very loose inside. And we're going to see what we can do with this one. This one got left out in the rain as well. So we're going to pop it apart real quick. It definitely needs new line. So let's go ahead and pop this thing apart and see what we can do with it. Yeah, it definitely got water inside it. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have to take the axle shaft out to get to the... Okay, we got a screw on this side. All right. Slide the handle out, and we are ready to take these 3 screws out. Yeah, I think we are. All right, let's take the side cover off. All right, we've seen this style before. Let's see if we can pull the pin. Yes. Okay, the pin is out. That means the crosswind arm can now come out. And we should be able to slide the axle out. Okay, with the axle out, we should be able to see what's going on up front. Okay. There we go. That nut is just really, really loose. Okay. Had tightened that down. All right, there's no water intrusion in this, but this reel is really ugly inside and needs to be cleaned. So we're going to see what we can do for it. It's got a bushing on the other side that doesn't want to come off. So that'll make it fun. Okay, when you've got something like this, the first inclination is going to be, hey, can I re-yank this off? What can I do? Well, for me, this is getting pretty easy because now that I have my metal lathe, I can just take this out there and chuck it up and run this little bit off of here, and this guy will come right off. But this is where it's been flared out from tightening the nut down too tight. And it's pretty easy to fix it now. You can take and chuck this up in a drill and use a little bit of sandpaper along the edge of it. That'll work. Or a file. You can do either one of those, but I've gotten to where I enjoy using my metal lathe, so I invested in it for that. So I'm going to go do it. I'll be right back. All right, a quick trip out to the metal lathe. And this comes right off now. I took a very, very small little, like 1/1000th of an inch off. And that was enough to allow that to slide. And just need to clean that part up, and that should be good. I'm going to go ahead and pop this rotor back apart. I don't believe that I've ever been inside this reel. I believe this was somebody else's reel. I think this is one of my grandson's friend's reels, because I have never had this thing apart, I can promise you. Look at that. Okay. That is filthy dirty inside. Okay. It's like this is Grandpa's reel or something. Okay, there you go. Got that off. And we'll go ahead and pop this bearing out so we can take the pinion off and clean it. Ooh, maybe we will. Man, that screws in there. There we go. Okay. No shimming there. All right. I'm going to take a few minutes to clean these parts up, and we'll come back and see about putting this thing back together. All right. We got things pretty well cleaned up, and we're ready to start putting things back together. Let's start off by putting the pinion back in. So it goes onto this bearing, like so, and then it sits down inside here, and it's got to fit into that hole right there, like that. Now, before we slide that in there, let's go ahead and give that a shot of oil right there, so that when that goes in there, it can turn okay. And then slide the bearing down in there. There, that's a good fit. All right, the next part that's got to go in is going to be the 2 screws that maintain and hold this bearing in place. Here's one here. And one here. All right, next, we're going to put a drop of oil here on the anti-reverse override, and then we're going to put a drop of oil on the anti-reverse itself, and then we're going to oil this bearing. Okay, now the next guy to go on is going to be this guy, and he's got to fit down onto this bearing or pinion, and that pinion's got a little bit of a burr on the end of it, but it went on. And then this spring wire right here, don't know how well you can see it. Let's go ahead and blow this up right here. Okay, this spring wire fits onto this post right here, like that. Okay, and that's what makes this operate when it's not in override. Okay, and it's only going to operate one time per revolution. Okay. Okay, as it runs from the red, it will hit just like that. And that brings it back to that same point every time. Because this reel is a quick fire, which means the anti-reverse only locks into one place, one position, one time. Okay, so that means we got to put this around, get it into the locked position like this. See where the anti-reverse is up against there, like so. And then we're going to bring this around and put it on so that the quick fire portion of this is towards the foot, like that. Okay. Then we can go ahead and tighten the screw down, the nut down. Now this doesn't have a keeper like a lot of reels do, and that's why it had backed off. So we'll have to make sure it's good and snug so that it can't come off. But you don't want to over tighten it, because these things are brass and you can snap them. Okay, there's the trigger. Okay, this just rotates around. Wow, it didn't want to fire. It does want to stop. There we go. There we go. Let's go ahead and add. I'm not going to take all the quick fire portion of this apart, but I am going to go ahead and add some lubrication to all the points of pivot on this quick fire. Fast cast is what they call it on this one. Let me make sure that is rotating. Can't get it with that. Let's try this one. Yes, it is. Okay. Doesn't rotate well, but it rotates. I am going to try to take that apart. Let's see if we can take that apart before we go any further. It may not unscrew. There's some corrosion in that screw. Having to be careful taking it out that we don't snap the threads or snap the screw. See the corrosion? Okay. All right. Okay, that cleaned up nicely. And this does not look like it's cleaned up nicely. So let's try to clean it up. Okay. That's better. Okay. And we'll put a drop of oil on there. There, now that will turn. Okay, let's set it back into place. Set the plastic washer back in over here. And let's get our screw back in. Almost tight enough. There we go. Okay. Now that's got that taken care of. All right, the bearing sounds pretty good. Let's go ahead, put some grease on the pinion. Do it again. And once again. All right, now we're going to take this bushing and put it in down underneath. There we go. That's the one that was stuck on the main gear that we had to take out and use the metal lathe to get off. Okay, we're going to put some grease on the main gear. There we go. And of course we put too much. There we go. Okay. And we can slide the main gear back in like that. And now we're going to put some grease on the back side here, because we're going to install the crosswind arm. And now we're going to oil the axle shaft and slide it back in. Okay, once we get it to right about here, we've got to take that pin that we took out. There it is. Before we put this in, let's back this back out a second. Pull the axle shaft back out. Let's put a little grease into the groove down here at the bottom. There we go. All right, now put this back in. Slide the axle shaft back in. Align the holes, and let's put the pin back in. There we go. Now we're going to come back, add some more grease here. We're going to come back to, oh, I haven't cleaned this piece. All right, we're going to put some grease here. And we're going to put a little grease where this pin rides in this slot over here. And we're going to put this back on. Like that. And then we should be able to put these screws back in. All right, there's a piece of sand or something encrusted down in the end of this one, keeping the screwdriver from going in. Let's see if I can clean it up. Okay, that seemed to take care of it. Yep. But I made the fatal mistake of tightening the other two screws down all the way. Now we can tighten this one down. All right. Okay. That one slides in. This has been used in some salt water. This pin over here. We'll put some oil on it. We'll put some oil on the pivot. There we go. Put a little down in the handle. Spin it up. It's making a chattering sound. It doesn't have enough oil yet. There we go. Now we'll put the screw back in. Okay. Now, if you saw me work on the other reel, you know that I shimmed it. Now, this one here could use a shimming also. If you push in on the handle while you wind it, see how quiet it is? If you pull out on it, hear how grumbly it is? Let's see if we can figure out how much shimming it needs. And it looks like it needs quite a bit. Look at how much motion there is. Okay, let's see if I can take a measurement. Okay, that's all the way, it's 0.46. And now let's pull it the other way. .55, so it needs about 10 thousandths, or about 1 millimeter actually. 1 millimeter, because we're in metric mode. Okay, so let's see what I got for shims. Okay. All right, this is 5.5 millimeter, or 0.55 millimeters. I'm gonna try 2. Probably won't work, it's probably too much, but I'm gonna try putting 2 shims in. Okay, let's see what I can do with that. Too much. Okay, we'll take one of those off. And yeah, I think that'd be enough. Okay. Sounds pretty good. Okay, and somebody somewhere along the way added this washer. I don't really think it belongs on there, but we're going to put it back. I think it's supposed to have a plastic washer in there, and that's why that was flared out on the end. So I put that steel lock washer on there, so when you tighten this down, it kind of flares out that metal a little bit. Okay, no more grumble, even if you pull on the handle, so that took care of the noise. There we go. And let's put the rotor back on. Okay. And then on goes the drag knob. Okay. And there you have the Shimano MLX-200 200 reel, and it's a nice little reel. It's made for up to 10-pound test, so it'll handle 105 yards of 10-pound test. And what somebody had on there was like 20-pound test. So I think we'll top it off at 10 and let it go. Put it back on the reel. It's sitting on a very lightweight reel to begin with, or rod. This is actually an expandable rod, or slip rod. There you go. Oh no, wasn't we still got that one to do? Okay, yeah. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. Tell me what you didn't like about it. For now, that's Rick Stivers, the Young Martin's Reels, signing out.